So what's wrong with legalism? Well, Yahuah surely loves to see us being legalistic. If we're legalistic, that means we're obeying his commandments. Pastors have been crying out about half of my life. I'm 64, almost 65 in a few months. And half of my life, I've heard these pastors crying out, legalism! Legalism? What is legalism? Well, legalism is being legal in the eyes of Yahuah. And sin is another word for crime. Breaking the law of Yahuah makes us a criminal, and yet his indwelling enables us to love his instructions, his Torah. And we'll see crime against his Torah the same way he does. I mean, we agree with the Torah. We don't fight against it. We actually love it. And if you see somebody that says, I love the Torah, I love his commandments, wouldn't you like to be in that person's shoes? Especially like on Judgment Day? Or instead of saying, I didn't like your commandments and I never thought we had to obey them. Well, that's a poor defense. But I tried to obey them, and I think I did better than I would if I hadn't have tried. You know. Anyway, what's this thing about the law being nailed to the crux? That's not what's nailed there. What's nailed there is the list of our crimes, the kairographen in the Greek. It's a list of accusations that were against us. The list of accusations that were against us is a list of our crimes. They're wiped clean by the blood of the Messiah, Mashiach. So that was what was nailed to the tree, him, because he became crime for us. He became the criminal and took the blame and the full force of the penalty of the crime. And we were spared that. What's so hard to understand? Now, if the list of our accusations that were against us, that were handwriting, that were against us, that's what kairographen means, handwriting. If they've been taken out of the way because Yahusha took them away through his shed blood, then the list of our crimes was nailed to the stake because he was nailed to the stake. They can never be used to accuse us. They've been removed. So our memory needs to dissolve. His memory has already done that. We cannot go back and think about it. But we must not sin willfully. We need to know what sin is, study his Torah, say what is it that pleases you, and then, then we'll know what a crime is. The definition of sin hasn't been redefined. What used to be a sin remains sinful. Sin is still sin. But the penalty for the sins has been put upon the innocent lamb of Yahuah. That's what the Passover is all about. We don't continue in sin. Romans 6 verse 1 informs us we should not continue to sin so that loving kindness might abound. That's not what we're to do. We're to stop that. And we are criminals if we continue to commit crimes against his Torah. If we do not listen to his instructions, if we turn our ear away from him, in other words, hearing the Torah, that would be Yeshayahu or Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. If we turn our ear away from the Torah, even our prayers are an abomination. If we do not listen to his instructions, he said he would come to burn the entire earth. Malachi 4, verse 4 through 6. But what we have inherited from the church fathers has turned away many ears from hearing the Torah. This is a fact, causing our prayers to be an abomination in his ears. Now that's from Proverbs 28, verse 9. If you turn your ear away from the Torah, then your prayers are an abomination to him. And that matches perfectly with Isaiah or Yeshayahu 8:20. He who turns his ear away from hearing the Torah, even his prayers are an abomination. Now, during the day of distress, that's the tribulation, the Gentiles will come from the ends of the earth and say, Our fathers have inherited only lies and futility, and there is no value in them. In other words, they didn't reboot their computer and go back to the Torah. They have all these traditions. Inheriting lies and futility, that's what tradition is. Everything that we actually see, and this was admitted by a man on the radio when I was listening to the radio about 35 years ago. This Christian pastor was on Christian radio saying every single thing that Christians do actually originates from paganism. And we don't do a single thing that is written in Scripture. I don't know how he got away with saying it. But everything we see practiced is a strange fire from a pagan origin. Whatever it is, not a single thing that's practiced by Christians is found in the written word. The one we obey is the one that we are the servant of. Romans 6, verse 16. When will pastors begin to teach truth rather than defiling traditions? Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Teach the truth. Teach the truth. When you get the name right, it really helps. Stop the nonsense. When you get the name right, it really helps. Stop the nonsense. Teach the truth. Teach the truth.